each of you for attending. We thoroughly enjoy hosting you here in Charlotte for this occasion, as well as the many other championships, meetings, and events we hold throughout the year. The Queen City is an outstanding home for the ACC, and please know that our office is always available to you. On behalf of the entire ACC, our hearts and prayers remain with everyone who's been affected by the horrific storms and flooding, most specifically in Central Texas, where the loss of life is truly devastating. We will continue to keep the family and friends of loved ones in our thoughts, and I ask that you join me in a moment of remembrance. Thank you. To see so many media, partners, colleagues, and friends assembled here today is incredibly humbling. You are appreciated, and your attendance, coverage, and support will never be taken for granted. As I've done annually since my first ACC football kickoff 5 years ago, there's one group in attendance that I'd like to especially recognize. Yesterday, I was able to spend time with our ACC Student Athlete Advisory Committee. If you know me and have followed this league, you know there's nothing more important than our amazing student athletes. Please join me in recognizing the representatives from our ACC SAC, who I asked to stand that are midway back here today. They remain the best and brightest student athletes in the country, I promise you. Before I look ahead, it's important to reflect on the past year and what was accomplished both within the ACC and nationally. Beginning last July and throughout the year, we seamlessly integrated our 3 newest league members. Our national footprint, present in each of the 5 most populated states and having 4 of the 10 largest television markets, will continue to serve the ACC well. During the 2024 Summer Olympics in Paris, athletes from ACC institutions combined to win 102 total medals, the most of any conference, including the highest number of golds. Current and former student athletes from a total of 13 different schools won at least 1 medal, and Stanford athletes led all NCAA schools with a school record 39. The partnership with Disney and ESPN was only further strengthened this past year. Last summer, we celebrated the 5th anniversary of ACC Network with a series of media interviews and events in Bristol. Following the celebration on ESPN's campus, many of us were on the same flight to Ireland for the Aer Lingus Classic featuring Florida State and Georgia Tech. It was an incredible atmosphere, and having ESPN's College Game Day as well as ACC Huddle broadcasting live for the first time outside of the United States was absolutely tremendous. It was also the most watched Week 0 college football game since 2019 and the top game on cable this past season. Sponsorships were enhanced as 2 additional partners were secured, including Geico as the presenting sponsor of the 2024 ACC Football Championship game. And as part of a multi-year agreement through 2027, T. Rowe Price became an official sponsor of the ACC and as the exclusive title sponsor of the ACC men's basketball tournament. At the end of January, in conjunction with ESPN, we announced an extension of our long-term partnership through the 2035-36 academic year. The renewed commitment demonstrated ESPN's ongoing dedication to the ACC and has accelerated our creative and innovative efforts to drive additional value. Following the ACC Board of Directors' endorsement of a competitive success initiatives program back in May of 2023, this past year marked the first implementation of the progressive and forward-thinking approach that rewards schools for their competitive success in football and in basketball. When the initiative was first approved, only football and men's basketball revenues from national postseason competition were included. However, I applaud our leadership in being proactive by ensuring women's basketball would be effortlessly integrated when the NCAA D1 membership approved implementation of units back in January. The legal disputes within the conference were brought to resolution at the beginning of March. The ACC Board of Directors was amazing in its leadership, dedication, and patience through a challenging process. The settlement provides long-term stability for the league, with the potential for all members to benefit from additional revenue opportunities. Leading in the distribution of revenue based on success, and now with an additional revenue distribution model that is based on viewership, the ACC has been innovative in its approach to conference revenues. As part of the modernization of college athletics, these new models allow us to maintain distributions for all ACC members that are above most other conferences, while also providing flexibility for competition at the highest level of revenue. On the playing fields and in the classrooms, our student athletes and programs continue to shine. The ACC won 6 NCAA titles this past year and has amassed 29 in the last 4 years. In that span, no conference has won more NCAA titles in league-sponsored sports. Amazingly, there have been 17 occasions that an ACC team defeated another ACC team in either the NCAA semifinals or the championship over the last 4 years. Let me just say this is a killer for the commissioner. It's the thrill of victory and the agony of defeat all in the same moment. In addition to our NCAA titles, 12 teams finished their seasons ranked either #1 or #2 in their respective national polls. Earlier this month, we announced Virginia's Gretchen Walsh and Duke's Cooper Flagg were chosen by a select media panel as the top female and male ACC athletes for the 2024-25 academic year. Walsh earned her second consecutive Mary Garber Award as the most outstanding female athlete a week after winning the Honda Cup as the 2025 Collegiate Woman Athlete of the Year. Flagg, the consensus Men's National Player of the Year and the top pick in June's NBA draft, earned the Anthony J. McKevlin Award as the premier male athlete. The nominees for these top league awards were remarkable, especially when you consider the national award winners and Olympic medalists who are on that list. And as many of you noted at the time, this was only the 6th time in history that the #1 draft picks from the NFL and NBA hailed from the same conference. ACC's Cam Ward of Miami and Cooper Flagg. Beyond athletics, our member institutions remain national leaders in academic metrics, including U.S. News World Report's best colleges, NCAA graduation success rates, and academic progress rates. Let me be clear. To the ACC, academics and graduation continue to be cornerstones and a significant point of differentiation. Financially, as most recently reported, we were one of only 2 power conferences to show a revenue increase in 2023-24. We had the highest gross revenue ever reported for the league at over $711 million. Over the last 5 years, our overall revenue's up 56%, and has more than tripled in the last 13. We delivered an average of $45 million to each school, also a league record. And once again, we are in the top 3 in both overall revenues generated and per school distribution, and we fully expect that to continue as we look ahead. Competitively, academically, financially, and beyond, it was another truly remarkable year for the ACC, which is a tribute to the exceptional leadership at our institutions, led by our CEOs and ADs. There will always be more to do, but we are well positioned for the future, and I'm confident that our league will remain laser focused on building upon these successes by further embracing innovation, creativity, and competition. Nationally, the ACC continues to play a vital and leading role in this transformational moment for college sports. There remains strong ongoing collaboration among the Power 4 commissioners as we work together to build a better and more sustainable future. There's not a day that I'm not engaged in discussions on the College Sports Commission, federal legislation efforts, the NCAA, or the college football playoff. As you know, after years of uncertainty and legal challenges, the formal approval of the settlement in June was a major step forward in modernizing college athletics. The new system provides a sustainable framework that allows more benefits to student athletes while continuing the broad-based programming that produced so many Olympic medalists last summer. The ability for schools to provide scholarships to more student athletes does not get the positive attention it deserves. From the very beginning and throughout the negotiations, anticipated resolution, preparations for approval, and now to full implementation, the ACC has been at the forefront of these discussions. The College Sports Commission, with Brian Seeley as its CEO, has already begun its tireless work ensuring compliance with the new rules around revenue sharing, student-athlete NIL deals, and roster limits. Brian begins his tenure about a month ago, and I continue to be impressed with him, with his credentials speaking for themselves. As we move forward and continue to meet this true reset moment, we must remember that everything will not be perfect immediately. We know we must get this right, which we take very seriously. We're being thoughtful about every detail and are committed to progress through learning, adapting, and strengthening the model to support and protect college sports for generations to come. And the obligation to get this right is one the entire industry shares, from me and my fellow commissioners to university presidents, athletic directors, and coaches. We have to commit to structure, exercise restraint, and be intentional about resetting the culture of college athletics. Without question, there's still significant work to be done, but we must acknowledge that collectively we are truly in a better place, and we have a responsibility to make it work in the future. With that said, we also need Congress to act. We will continue to push for federal legislation that will support our efforts to ensure a uniform, stable, and legally sound future. Recently, a bipartisan group of Congress members sponsored the SCORE Act, designed to address issues that threaten college sports, but cannot be solved in the legal settlement in June. Created a national standard, as opposed to state-by-state differences, codifies the student-athlete's right to earn money for their NIL and is paramount importance in ensuring that all institutions are operating under the same law. The Act also clarifies rulemaking authority around the central tenets important for the continued integration of college sports in the higher education setting. As an example of the threats the system faces, college sports cannot withstand repeated one-off legal challenges to eligibility rules that further separate athletic participation from the institutional academic mission. Not only is it philosophically contrary to the educational mission of our institutions, but continued extensions of eligibility threaten the opportunities for the next generation of college student athletes. As you know, there are many issues addressed in this comprehensive bill, and I applaud the engagement of our national leaders and look forward to our continued progress. As we further implement the many aspects of the new model, we also remain focused on working with the NCAA and President Charlie Baker on critical matters including the future of NCAA governance, a discussion that has been ongoing for several years, dating back to my service on the Constitution and Transformation Committees. The NCAA Board of Directors, chaired by Virginia Tech President Tim Sands, and the NCAA Board of Governors, which I have the privilege of serving on, are focused on the future structure. Following an incredibly successful first year of the expanded college football playoff, we are looking forward to the future of this premier event. Earlier this spring, we adjusted the seating and bye policies for the upcoming season, which were absolutely in the best interest of college football. The decisions were important to guarantee the 5 highest-ranked conference champions a place in the playoff while also recognizing performance on the field during the entire regular season via straight seeding. Conversations regarding the CFP structure beyond the upcoming year are ongoing, and I sincerely appreciate the collaborative spirit in which we are moving forward. We may not always agree, and at certain points we have had some strong disagreements. But we all recognize the importance of coming together to find a solution that is truly best for all of college football. Fairness and access are paramount, just as they are in all other college sports postseasons. As I begin my remarks about the upcoming ACC football season, I want to announce two specific conference policies that will be implemented this fall. In the sports of football and men's and women's basketball, our conference has elevated its expectations around court and field safety. Members are required to continue developing event security plans, which will now include a review by a third party independently, and to ensure that only participants, coaches, officials, and authorized personnel are allowed in the competition area before, during, and at the conclusion of any competition. The plan may allow spectators to access the competition area following a contest, but only after the visiting team and officials have safely exited the area. With the elevated safety expectations, there's critical importance to ensure that adequate time for all members of the visiting team to safely leave the field of play. In addition to these elevated expectations, there is a corresponding fine structure in place should a school have a breach in this new policy. Similarly, in the sports of football, men's and women's basketball, as well as baseball, the ACC will implement a player availability reporting policy for each conference game. In football, an institution will submit an availability report 2 days before each league game, with updates 1 day before and on game day. All submitted reports will be publicly available on the ACC.com. This decision is directly connected to our ongoing commitment to best protect our student athletes and our multifaceted approach to addressing the effects of sports wagering. In this case, it would alleviate pressure from entities or individuals who are involved in sports wagering that attempt to obtain inside information about availability from players, coaches, and other staff. Safety has always been taken seriously by this league, and I applaud our schools for further enhancing and formalizing these important measures. We are now 32 days away from week 0 and the start of the 2025 ACC football season, and 37 days from arguably the most compelling week 1 in college football history, and in ACC football history, that is. Last spring, we welcomed 3 new coaches in North Carolina's Bill Belichick, Stanford's Frank Reich, and Wake Forest's Jake Dicker. Collectively, this is a veteran group of coaches with multiple national championships and Super Bowl rings. And I look forward to watching all 17 lead their respective teams this season. Once again, our programs have separated themselves in both scheduling and attracting preeminent players. We applaud the national conversation around the importance of strength of schedule in elevating and evaluating teams for the college football playoff. The ACC continues to embrace this challenge, with our teams being intentional and strategic about the non-conference scheduling to ensure a competitive and meaningful slate of games to complement the challenging league schedule. ACC football has the strongest non-conference schedule in the country, with 26 non-conference games against Power 4 opponents, including Notre Dame, which is 8 more than any other league. Whether looking at the non-conference games against teams ranked in the final 2024 CFP rankings or ESPN's 2025 way too early top 25, our league is leading the way. ACC football demands excellence every week from every team. Our league is as deep as any, and we witnessed that last season as for the first time in conference history, 4 different ACC teams won at least 10 games, plus a league record and nation-leading 13 bowl-eligible teams. That's not an anomaly, it's the new standard, and we expect nothing less this year. And what makes our league great is the exceptional talent. The ACC once again stands out as the conference of quarterbacks, and the numbers speak for themselves. This year's group is as deep and talented as we've seen in years, with elite signal callers, many here with us this week. But it's not just about quarterbacks. This league is loaded with explosive playmakers on offense, game changers on defense, and we all know the value of special teams in this league. There's not enough time to outline all the meaningful games and rivalries that will take place this season. However, there's no question all eyes will once again be on this conference. During week 1, we're the only league North Carolina playing host to TCU. Our teams will also play nation-leading 7 Power 4 opponents in week 1, all of which who have won at least 9 games this past season. Throughout the regular season, ACC football is set to dominate Friday nights. A league record and nation-leading 12 games are scheduled and will feature 12 of our 17 programs. Fans will never miss a minute of action as our ESPN, ACC network, and CW partners will once again cover our teams throughout the entire season. Starting next week, ACCN will embark on a 3-week road trip previewing all 17 ACC programs with 60-minute shows that air in primetime each weekday. As I said before, being one of only 3 conferences with its own network is a differentiator. And in this case, Road Trip is unique to the ACC, as it's the only college conference network to have this preseason programming. ACC Huddles continues to be another quality initiative, which since 2001 has traveled to the site of the ACCN primetime game. Beginning this season, we're thrilled to announce that ACC Huddle will now travel to the marquee ACC game each week, beginning with number 6 LSU at number 2 Clemson in week 1. The ACC regular season promises to be a relentless battle as teams will once again compete for the opportunity to earn a coveted spot in the ACC football championship game played at Bank of America Stadium right here in Charlotte. This game continues to stand as one of college football's premier events, features the top 2 teams in the ACC, and consistently delivers riveting moments and national significance. In the first 20 games, 14 different ACC programs have competed for the title, more than any other Power 4 conference, a reflection of the depth, balance, and strength that defines ACC football. And make no mistake, this event has major national implications. In 10 of the last 13 seasons, the game's winner has reached the college football playoff or national championship game. Last year, and for the second time in league history, both of our participating teams earned a spot in the CFP, making the ACC one of only 3 multi-bid leagues. Please enjoy the next 3 days as you talk with our outstanding coaches and student athletes that are ready to accomplish greatness. I truly believe there's not a more exciting collection of teams in the country than in the ACC. As I conclude my remarks, I also want to express my sincere appreciation to each of you for your coverage, attendance, and support of this league. Now I'm happy to take any questions. Thank you.